So I do it. Can you wait?
On your slide. Yeah. That was a lot harder than it needed to be. Yes. Do you want me to mute it for a second?
Nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed.
CSU is a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion.
And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon.
This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
We'll now move into the swearing in of new senators and associates. Do we have any new senators and associates who need to be sworn in?
I state your name.
I, Anis Bhattrai,
Leona Marfellow,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University,
of the ASCSU student of Colorado State University,
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
We'll now move into the beginning roll call.
Speaker Taylor,
Present.
Speaker Pro Tempore Reese, Parliamentarian Camber, present. Chair Laura Pardo,
Present.
Senator Herrera, Associate Senator Rodriguez, present. Senator Melchior,
Present.
Senator Bouchel, present. Chair Miller, present. Senator Monanti,
Present. And Senator Emeritus.
Senator Diggs,
Present.
Senator Chalk, Senator Rivera, present. Senator Johnson, Associate Senator Archibald, Senator Zia Amadi,
Here.
Senator Craigle, Senator Grenier,
Present.
Senator Gonso, Senator Lee, present. Chair Myers,
Present.
Senator Liggett,
Present.
Associate Senator Lucero, present. Associate Senator Brannick,
Present.
Senator Rivera, present. Senator Alvarez, Associate Senator Barron, Senator Adelaide,
Present.
Associate Senator Smith, oh wait, Associate Senator Boschman,
Present.
Chair Snyder,
Present.
Senator Tomas Sorrell, present. Senator Tapia Rodriguez, present. Senator Falbo,
Present.
Associate Senator Tall, present. Senator Salazar,
Present.
Senator Green, present. Associate Senator Jaldon, present. Chair Frisky, present. Chair Davis, here. Senator Luna, here. Senator Gray, here. Senator Pickerel,
Here.
Chair Leff,
Here.
Associate Senator Groove,
Here.
Associate Senator Harris, present. Senator McLaughlin,
Present on Zoom.
Senator Gilroy. And if your name wasn't called, it's likely because you're just sworn in. So we have a little sheet up here. If you could come up probably at the end of the session, so we can put your name, constituency, and everything so you can hear the placard, that'd be great. Thank you.
With that, we'll move into the consent agenda. Do I see any dissent to the agenda?
Can I make a motion to move the ratification of ESOP member up behind gallery input?
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Okay, seeing none, that change will be shown on the agenda.
Thank you.
Do I see any additional dissent to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move into gallery input. Do we have anybody in the gallery who wants to speak? Yes.
You will have 5 minutes, so let me just give you like a cue to start your time. I think you had the first raise hand.
Hello. I come to you all tonight as a student. Hello, everyone. The last week and a half has been one of fear and uncertainty regarding many incredibly important things, like the rights of the undocumented community, our climate, DEI initiatives, and federal grant funding. The current presidential administration of the United States has established itself in stark opposition to many things. Importantly, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. These values run incredibly deep at our institution and many institutions across the country. And this administration views that as a threat to the status quo, which is the very thing that gives them so much power. We, the people of this country and the world, have the unique privilege to let diversity be our strong suit, as it always has been. While the status of and the language regarding DEI initiatives is uncertain, I can assure each and every person listening that my commitment to DEI will never falter, no matter who occupies what office. And my efforts regarding DEI across campus are not going anywhere. Lastly, I call to action as a student here, the administration of our university, to communicate to students that their fears are heard and taken seriously, and that the values that are so fundamental to our university will be protected and safeguarded for future RAMs. Thank you all for the incredible work that you do. We are strongest together, and we must remember that. Thank you.
Hi all. Coming to you as a student, this past week has been incredibly overwhelming. The executive orders that have been put out are genuinely alarming, threatening to undo years of progress. One of the targets has been DEI programs, which I can personally speak on. DEI programs have been labeled as discriminatory by the Trump administration. DEI programs have given me personally so much, and to overlook that kind of impact is absolutely ludicrous. As a student, being a part of APAC staff has given me a community that makes me feel understood and seen. It has been deeply affirming to be surrounded by and to represent people with similar backgrounds to my own, especially while studying at a predominantly white institution. Calling DEI programs discriminatory is outlandishly ignorant. It blatantly disregards the systemic racism that this country was built upon. It's all liberty and justice for all until marginalized groups advocate for equity. This is not just an attack on DEI, it is an attack on fundamental American values. This is not patriotism. The silence from the university has been deafening. Inaction is a choice. Students are fearing for their safety, yet there has been no reassurance, no acknowledgement, and no commitment to stand by us. The university needs to step up, prove its commitment to student safety, and stand by the principles of community that they preach. We deserve more than silence. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I come before you as a student tonight. I know many of us are worried, sickened, and scared about what is happening in the highest levels of the federal government. I cannot imagine what many of my brothers, sisters, and siblings are going through, wondering each second what will come down the pipeline next. I am also scared. However, we mustn't give in to this fear. We must stand tall and be in community with each other and every person who fights for freedom, equity, and justice. While it is overwhelming to even exist right now, we must stay informed and understand what is happening. We cannot control what decisions are made, however, we can control how we react and how we fight. Now, more than ever, it is important to find community, to mesh our communities, and to uplift each other. There is power in numbers, and we need to be the numbers. Together we stand, divided we fall. Stand with our brothers, sisters, and siblings. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, ASCSU. My name is Michael May. I'm the co-chair of CSU YDSA, Young Democratic Socialists of America, little RSO that works, it's dedicating much of its time towards defending the rights of vulnerable populations, specifically under attack by the Trump administration. Of the vulnerable populations, the one that I would be specifically focusing on tonight is undocumented students. As ICE raids rip through our backyard, many of us are left to wonder when they will begin to target our very own campus. In Loveland yesterday, they pulled someone directly out of getting exactly what it was, but it was a car registration place. In Aurora, they are preparing to use military officials to target civilian populations. It is quite the alarming turn of events, and what we must do sort of as a community is very much stand behind our most vulnerable populations here. And what is most alarming about these raids is not simply the fact that they are happening, it is the fact that they are happening indiscriminately. In Newark, New Jersey, they detained a U.S. veteran. In a number of other cases, there have been dozens of detainees that are U.S. citizens and Native Americans. And, this leaves the rest of the student population with a pretty reasonable fear. When they come for us, will they really be coming directly for these students, or will they be, indiscriminately targeting us? And that's, a little bit harder to, ascertain. And so, thus, my call for ASCSU tonight is less of a specific ask. I am a student. I don't know what exactly goes on here. I haven't exactly read your guys' number of documents that you can find on your website, but I do want to ask for a coalition here. I'm an advocate for students. You guys are advocates for students. What we really need to do in this moment is stand together. I will be in the gallery for the entirety of this meeting. If anyone would like to discuss this, please come up and talk to me after the meeting. Thank you very much.
Do we have?
We go. Okay, I'm gonna go up here.
How many of you guys are worrying about an assignment tonight? Raise your hand. Awesome. How many of you guys worrying about an exam tonight? Damn, already? How many of you guys are worried about getting deported? How many of you guys are aware that ICE was in Fort Collins today on North College? Right. I haven't been able to focus literally at all for this last 2 weeks. I haven't been able to sit down and get anything done these last 2 weeks. Why? Because I'm having difficult conversations with my family members. What will it look like if we get deported? Where would my siblings go? Where would I go? Who will have custody over my siblings? Who will have custody over our house? Who will have custody over our cars? I have to have these conversations. Do you know how draining it is? My mom and I, we sat together and she said, Mijo, I don't know who I'll leave my kids with. I don't want to give up my kids. Do you think any of these families want to give up their kids? No. Do you think I want to be talking about this right now? No. I wish right now all I had to worry about was my assignments and homework. I wish I knew somebody was standing behind me in our university, confirmed. But no. What happens to our USS coordinator position? We only have 2 years left. Who's going to fund that now? I want all of you to think about undocumented students. Nick DeSalvo, he mentioned that higher education is planning to release a statement. And I mean, that's great, but it's not enough. A statement isn't going to do anything. If you know, some of you might have noticed, some of you might have haven't noticed, the support website for undocumented students is no longer up. Neither in El Centro, neither on CSU things, because why? Well, the argument I've heard is for our protection. Although it doesn't feel like that. It feels like I'm being shoved away. It feels like I am being hidden, and it feels like I'm being criminalized. It is just one more reminder that nobody views me as anything different than a criminal. It is one more reminder that I don't have the liberty to do what I want as a human being. It is one more reminder that there's people out here seeking for my deportation. And what am I trying to do? Oh, I'm seeking a better future for myself. I came to college in order to receive a degree. Will I be able to use that degree? Who knows? Why hasn't the university put anything in place that inspires and someone holds undocumented students' hand throughout this college experience? Because college wasn't meant for us. College was built by white rich men for white rich men. Do you know the fear I hold as an undocumented student who's been open about my identity? There's multiple articles out there saying undocumented student Vladimir Pardo. But I can't live in fear because my community needs someone that will speak out on it. And I know a lot of you are speaking out in spaces that I'm not in. But I ask you to stop doing that because, first of all, you're not undocumented. You don't identify as undocumented. This isn't an opportunity for you to look good. This is an opportunity for me to advocate for my people's rights, my people's asks. I know the struggle. I know what it's like to fear for my life when I'm at school. I know what it's like to have to scurry into hiding because ICE is here. I know the stress, the anger, all of these things that bring up, I know what that feels like. So why is there conversations going around where undocumented individuals aren't present? You don't know what it's like to be undocumented. You don't know my struggles. You don't know what I'm fighting for. So, what can you guys do? Let people know. Let people know they have rights. Let people know that there is a packet for in case you get deported. Let people know about these events. Urge university. The university hasn't released a statement because they don't want to become a target. Realistically, the university has $7 million plus in research. There's 150 undocumented students. Which one would they rather lose? It's sad, but it's true. So, President John, someone remind me, John something. Tony Frank, I think. That was the one. President Tony Frank reached out to the community and said, I'm here. I am here to support you. I am here to hold your hand. What can the university do in order for your support? What have we heard from President Parsons? Oh my goodness. Yeah, silence. But oh, let me tell you about how she came in and talked to undocumented students, and undocumented students poured their heart out on a silver platter, sharing their undocumented stories and sharing their undocumented struggles, something that is so damn personal to our hearts. What'd she do?
Nothing.
Okay. So imagine how I feel walking on this campus, not knowing, but knowing that they're allowed on this campus. Knowing that if they have to cooperate, they will. Knowing that they rather lose 150 students than $7 million plus in research funding. Although I don't know all the answers and I don't know all the facts. But I do know that the university hates looking bad. So, what do we have powers as the student body? As the student body, we have the power to speak up. As the student body, you have the power to create more change. I can't be in this fight alone. It is draining and it is exhausting. But I don't need someone else leading it. I don't need someone else leading it who does not connect with my community. Because at the end of the day, what is going on? Where are we standing? Okay. Because at the end of the day, my community is not going to trust anyone who is not like them. It is the reality. So please, all I ask is for you guys to keep fighting forward, keep including me in conversation. Don't exclude me from any conversation. I don't know who the fuck is in the, I don't care whoever's in the room. You look
we have gone past the 5 minutes.
I'd like to motion to suspend the bylaws.
That specific section of the bylaws?
Yep.
Thank you. Hopefully not the whole bylaw.
No, but please.
Does that motion have any dissent?
I want to enforce the time on this anyway.
Well, I will because that's my job. So seeing no dissent, section C, that time limit is suspended. You may continue.
So, as I was saying, a lot of us are scared. A lot of us are worried about if we're going to get deported or not, or if our family members are going to get deported or not. I hope none of you ever have to experience what it's like to be undocumented. Ever. I never wish it upon my worst enemy. That's how much I struggle. I wish that all of you are seen as human and that your voices are heard. And that you don't live in fear of speaking out. You don't live in fear of getting deported. Everything will be okay, but we just have to unite and we have to start asking questions to our administration. Like, what are you gonna do? I know there's things set in place in case ICE comes to campus. But if you want to hold these values of inclusivity, diversity, what's the third one? Inclusion, social justice. Why aren't people doing that? Why is it all just for looks? Why is it all a publicity stunt? I'm a person. I'm not just for you to look good. I'm not the person to just make the university look good. The university here at CSU for supportive and undocumented students, they're up there. They're first. That's amazing. But all these resources and all this aid, and you can't release a statement? All these resources and all these aid, and you can't let the community know that you're there? That's it.
Do we have any additional gallery input? Seeing none, we'll move into the BSOF ratification.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. This is Luke. He is our new finance intern, but he is here getting ratified tonight to be a part of the BSOF board. I'll have him give himself a little introduction.
Hi guys, as Tenji has said, my name is Luke Leahy. I'm a third year at CSU studying finance. I'm looking forward to this position. So bring the questions. Thank you.
With that, we'll move into 5 minutes of Q&A. Chair Davis.
I'm just curious what your interest in BSOF is.
So I work with the Department of IT. I do accounting for them. And so that has given me perspective on the finance initiative on campus. I think BSOF exemplifies that as well. And so that is kind of in addition to what I'm already doing. But I think behind that, I like to do a lot of the behind the scenes work and make things happen on campus. I think BSOF is a great way for student organizations. By the way, if you're in one, you can request funding. And it's fantastic. But I think it helps exemplify that notion to bring student organizations up and allow them to do what they do best.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Seeing none, you can take a step outside.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just waiting to have the door close all the way. With that, we'll begin 5 minutes of discussion debate. Senator Maloney.
Solid vibes. Motion to move into voting.
You had a motion to approve this question in a second. Do I see any dissent to that motion? Seeing none, we'll move into voting. Senator Maloney.
Motion to approve this candidate with unanimous consent.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Seeing none, this candidate is accepted with unanimous consent.
I state your name.
I, Luke Leahy,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move into the guest speaker. The documents and presentation to be used in this was not sent out in the weekly email, so Officer Kelly has agreed to postpone that until next week.
Yeah, that's my bad. I made the presentation yesterday. So next week, for real.
And with that, the Senate will move into executive reports. Do you have anybody in executive who wishes to speak?
Where's our president?
Seriously, just go.
Hello, everyone. If you have not met me yet, my name is Georgia White. I'm the Director of Basic Needs for Executive Council. So we focus on food and housing security for students as well as creating programming to encourage health and wellness on campus in any aspect that you can think of, from harm reduction with Narcan and fentanyl testing strips to providing emergency contraceptive to students. So first, just want to take a moment and thank you all for being here as always. I have a lot of gratitude for the work that you all do on this campus and the time that you take to be here, and I want to continue to express that to you guys. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the fear and uncertainty that so many of us and our peers are facing right now. Whether it's concerns over safety, access to basic needs, or feeling unseen, unheard, or unsafe in our own community. I know that this is a difficult time for many. I stand before you not just as the Director of Basic Needs, but as a fellow student, as a woman, and as a queer person who cares deeply about every single person on this campus. The Department of Basic Needs stands in full solidarity with you all. We are here fighting alongside you, working every day to ensure that students have access to the resources, support, and advocacy that they deserve. If there's a program, event, or resource that you believe would make a difference, I want you to know that we are ready to make it happen. Your voices matter, and our department is committed to turning your concerns into action. I encourage you all to reach out. I'm always in ASCSU. My office hours are also 11 to 2 on Fridays. So please let me know. And if that doesn't work for you, please send me an email. I would love to get something on the books. We can have coffee or lunch. So yes. And then a few updates about some upcoming events. I wanted to invite you all to a cooking class that we're doing in conjunction with Grants Against Hunger and the Food Security Advisory Council. I'll post this in Teams and also make sure that it goes out in our weekly newsletter. But we're hosting a Valentine's Day cooking class. The week of Valentine's Day is going to be February 11th, that's Tuesday, from 5 to 7:30. We're going to be teaching an entire cooking class that's made from all ingredients from Rams Against Hunger, which I think is really cool. And then lastly, a quick update about the Colorado Higher Education Student Basic Needs Summit. We are in full planning mode and we're starting to get some really cool things done. Once again, a reminder, it's on April 9th. That's a Wednesday. It's at the CSU Spur campus. It's just one day long. And if you're interested in attending, please let me know. We're going to start rolling registration out this week. So, and then we have some buy-in from the Colorado Department of Higher Education. They're going to come spend half the day with us, and they'll also be there for the section where we have lunch with local legislators and government officials. So if you're interested, come talk to me. We would love to see you there. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. I have the pleasure of meeting you tonight. My name is Joseph Gottschall. I am third-year student studying political science, and I also serve as ASCSU's Director of Public Relations. I'm reaching out today just on behalf of a little initiative we have going on, or I guess I should say we're a part of. Part of my role as Director of PR is to serve on the Rocky Mountain Student Media Board of Directors. And this year, just due to some changes in viewership and participation in school student media, Rocky Mountain Student Media is assembling a print advisory committee, which is tasked at investigating the longevity and current standing of print media at Rocky Mountain Student Media and CSU. The committee is composed of the CEO and staff of both the Collegian and College Ave, financial and HR representatives, professional journalists, and representatives from the CSU Journalism Department and other alumni. We have a seat at ASCSU on this committee. That's going to be filled by Deputy Supreme Court Justice Sam over there. And right now, I just want to talk to you about the possibility of lending your time. I know you already do so much, but to lend your time to that committee so they can interview and get a perspective from the legislative branch of ASCSU. I'm going to ask a question. How many of you guys received an email? It was pretty lengthy and it just covered all this information. It would have come from Ali Siebel, Hannah Parcells. Did we get that? Okay. It was supposed to go to everybody. I'm not exactly sure where they pulled that email list from. And so I'm going to go ahead and resend that out to you. We're just looking for 2 or 3 people from the legislative branch to just spend some time, no more than 30 minutes, just give some feedback and it's pretty much like an interview with the board and with the print advisory committee, so we can get some more input before we make our decision. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, and thanks for letting me speak. Hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.
Hi again. If I haven't met you all, my name is Tangia, and I'm the Director of Finance and the chair to BSOF. So I'm here tonight just wanting to update you all. As of last night, we have allocated a total of $143,378 of the $175,000 total that you all gave to us as a budget for this year. So thank you all for the continued support and participation. It's because of you guys that we were able to, fund these organizations, fund events, fund travel, your student organizations. And yeah, just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and good evening. If we haven't met yet, my name is Braxton Deason, Supervisor Vice President for this year. Just a very, very brief update on SFRB. If you're not familiar with the role of the Vice President, I oversee and chair the Student Fee Review Board, and so we have some budget assumptions for this year that I wanted to go ahead and share with you. I will be here every week. If not, somebody will be here in my replacement to report on what's going on with SFRB. And so right now our current, and this is our top shelf, top ceiling kind of worst case scenario proposal, is that student fees will increase if all proposals are voted yes on by 2.82% next year, which means students will pay a total of $1,425.67 as opposed to the $1,386.59 that they paid last year. And so we will be reviewing these proposals on a weekly basis throughout the spring semester and voting yes or no on them with the board, and then we'll have a total fee package to come to you at the end of the year with. But that is under the expected tuition increases that we're hearing kind of thrown around right now. So that is within our goal, and I'm happy to answer any preliminary questions on that right now, or you can email me at any time. All right, perfect. Thank you very much.
Good evening, folks. I see a lot of fresh faces, which is incredible to see. So if I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet, I'm Nick DeSalvo, I'm the ASCSU president. I wanted to give a little bit of an update on some of the conversations we've been having with members of the Joint Budget Committee. This is the committee that crafts the state budget for the entire workings of the state of Colorado. Higher ed is a big portion of that. And as many of you know who have heard these updates over the course of the last semester, the budget is in a very poor place because of a multitude of factors. But largely what you all need to know is that the state of Colorado is enduring about a $1 billion budget shortfall, meaning that there are things that have to be cut, there are programs that are on the chopping block. And so what our role is, my governmental affairs team and I, as well as the lobbying team that we have for ASCSU, is to go down to the Capitol and really reiterate why it's so important to invest in higher education, the value that higher education brings to the general population. And so we'll be doing that tomorrow, bright and early, at 7:30 in the morning. We'll be in Denver with my team to discuss with the third member of the Joint Budget Committee. Now, this is rare. Not many organizations get as much face time or as much of an opportunity to meet one-on-one with these members of the Joint Budget Committee, and there really is no other student entity or student government who are active participants in these meetings. And so hearing that perspective of students is so vital in ensuring that they have an understanding of why investing in higher ed is so important in the state of Colorado. I don't want to get too much in the weeds here, but I have a Board of Governors meeting next week, Wednesday through Friday, so I won't be here in Senate or Cabinet to give an update for all of you. But I can imagine those discussions, as we had discussions in December, are in relation to many of the things that were talked about in gallery input of some of my colleagues here. There's a lot of fear and uncertainty for things that are going to happen to undocumented students, what the implications of the new administration are for cultural resource centers. And for those of you who know me, you know that it's rare that I'm at a loss for words. However, I think it's a mistake on my part to try to give answers to questions that I don't necessarily have the answers to. And I know that's not what anyone would really want to hear, but the last thing I want to do in my position as a leader is give anyone false hope or an answer that is inaccurate in regards to what we can do to protect our most vulnerable students on this campus. And so I hope that 2 weeks from now, after the Board of Governors meeting, we have more guidance from Chancellor Tony Frank, from the Board of Governors of the CSU system, from the state of Colorado, so that we can craft some answers to many of the questions that you have, many of the things that are unanswered. Again, not trying to get too much into the weeds here, but we had a meeting amongst branch leaders, everyone who is at the top of the food chain in ASCSU, about what to do going forward with the new administration. And so I just want you all to know that we're actively working on it, and don't excuse our lack of statements or silence for ignorance. We're doing everything we can to ensure that you all feel supported in this process. I've been stewing on quite a bit, a quote that I have largely not paid much attention to for the 4 years I've been at ASCSU. It's our form of self-government, which we all profess to hold dear, requires that each and every one of us take an active part if it is to succeed. That was George Champion, former president of ASCSU, when CSU was referred to as Colorado A&M University. The reason I say that is because the onus is on all of us to support all of us. No singular person's shoulders are broad enough to carry the weight of some of these deep, wicked problems that we're facing now. And so I ask that we all lean on each other, we all support each other, and we approach this issue with a closed fist rather than separate digits. That's all I have for you, and I hope I have more answers to your deeply pressing questions very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move into judicial reports.
Hi everyone. I see some new faces out here, so allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Morgan Wright. I am the Chief Justice. I head the judicial branch, and I just wanted to first get some business out of the way. We have the trackers will be sent out here soon, so you can kind of see what my court is up to and what we're doing. And we will have our office hours posted soon on the door, so you can see when I will be in the office, when Sam will be in the office, Garrett will be in the office, and when our associate justices will be in the office. So if you have anything specific you would like to speak about with anyone in particular, you can see when our schedules are there and when we will be here. So that's kind of just business I wanted to share with you all. And second, I kind of wanted to echo what Nick was saying, and I also wanted to share that this is heavy. What we're dealing with right now is hard. And what we're seeing is I can't stand the phrase unprecedented times because I think we hear it ridiculously often and it becomes patronizing. I think we hear that all the time and I think that it gets old. So I don't know, I feel like we're looking at a uncharted territory. I don't know how else to describe it. So I just want to open up the court door even more and say that we're here and I'm here. And I know that we are, I keep saying this, but the court sometimes can be seen as like this branch on a shelf and that we're super confidential and we deal with all these super secret crazy things. And like, yeah, we do talk about things that are confidential and are important, but also we want to be as a support and a resource to all of you. And so please take advantage of our office hours, not just mine and not just Sam's and not just Garrett's, but also the associate justices. You know, we have 7, 8 members of all of us here that are at the ready to speak with all of you, and we really want to. So if you walk in here and go, man, there's no one here, there's probably a court member there. And they're probably really bored, or they're probably wanting to speak to somebody, and they're probably doing homework, or they're probably working on a passion project, and they're probably just as frustrated at the world as you, and they probably want to talk about it. So, with that, I'd love to introduce to you Garrett Lopez, our elections manager.
Thank you, Chief Justice. I want to thank you all for being here. It's so good to see so many faces representing so many constituents. I really don't have any good words for any of the various things all of us go through on a day-to-day, and I don't have any answers. I don't have them for my own family. So I'm sorry to each and every one of you. I wanted to start by thanking Chair Lutz. As a member of Senate, I want to thank you for being the only person who has gotten someone else to apply for elections committee. So I really, really appreciate that everything you do in there and keep pushing that. Please keep asking people to apply. It's huge. I've gotten 6 applications. I'll be bringing 4 people to you sometime soon to ratify, so that's great news. Yeah, and I would love individuals from all of your wonderful areas to create a really diverse committee. When it's just my friends and the people I know and the people I keep begging to ask, that's not a everyone you know. So, and if you have any questions, please email me. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, apply to elections committee. Do you want me to shout it into a mic?
Repeat after me. 1, 2, 3.
Apply for elections
committee. Thank you.
With that, we'll move into legislative reports, beginning with officers. I would just like to take a second to echo a lot of the sentiments expressed by President DeSalvo tonight. I know that many of us have faced a lot of uncertainty in the last couple of weeks about things that lie ahead. I campaigned for Speaker of the Senate on a platform of advocacy on behalf of all students and one of including all voices at the table. And I remain as equally as dedicated to those principles today as I was then. And so I will continue to be working with ASCSU leadership and with all of you to ensure the continued success of ASCSU and the continued well-being of all of the students that we all represent. Additionally, I was notified by the Warner College Council of a resignation of one of their associate senators. Accordingly, the Budgetary Affairs Committee Chair position is now vacant, so we'll be holding an election for that next week. If you have any interest in the position of being a committee chair and what kind of things that would entail, you can talk to me. I'm always happy to talk about that. So that election will be held next week, and I think that's all that I have.
I have a ton of housekeeping, and it just feels kind of silly right now. I work really closely with almost everything I do is federally funded. I was basically informed that my work would be going offline. Just one of the positions, but another one will be going away as well. It's really important that we remember that not all of the things that are being put out with a stroke of a pen are even enforceable. And a lot of this is to create fear, and it's to make people self-deport. It's to make people cut DEI programs before they can be enforced. And we're not going to do that. I want to make it really clear that we're not going to rewrite our ASCSU constitution or bylaws to get rid of DEI. We're not going to reword it. That's not happening. The work doesn't end. We're not going to stop fighting. I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but my grandmother survived Nazi occupation, and my grandfather was an officer in World War II. And he's no longer with us, but my grandmother has a lot to say about what's going on right now and how it started. And it didn't start, it started with fear and making people feel like they could do better to protect themselves by turning over their friends and their neighbors. And even then, that didn't protect anyone. So I want to let y'all know, I'm going to give you a couple things that is not meant to make you feel fear. We have to remind ourselves that we have much more strength in joy and building and laughing in community. I understand that seems a little ridiculous, and coming from me, and I know I want to acknowledge I'm sitting here in a position of power and privilege, and I have probably abused my parliamentarian role making statements like this every week, and I'm going to continue to do so. Because I have an ability to use this platform to make statements like this, and I'm going to keep doing that. And I know that it's a little unconventional, but unconventional is what gets us through unprecedented times. So a few things. The federal government can make CORA requests to look at our communications through school emails and things like that. So I would encourage a lot of your advocacy work to be moved to personal emails and encrypted messaging apps. That's going to be pretty important going forward. And I also put out a bunch of Know Your Rights red cards about the Fourth Amendment in 14 different languages. Please take some. They're in the lobby. Give them to everyone you know. That information seems really small and simple because it's on this tiny card, but it is vitally important that anyone who needs that information gets it. And most of all, I want to reiterate that the people who value the power and control that we're seeing right now, they have a kryptonite. And it is making a big fucking joke of how ridiculous all of this is. The 47th president, is not going to keep us from laughing, from being together, to being community, to have hope, to have joy. We're not going to let that happen. So my silly little housekeeping is just, I'll give you updates next week. Hopefully we have better news then. So just want you to know we're working on things and trying to figure out how to move forward. Keep an eye on your email inbox because we're going to be reaching out to all the CRCs and college councils for what to do in next moves. So I love you all. That's all.
I would just like to take 1 second to note that we do still have bylaws that do outline decorum within the Senate space. I know that we've had a little bit of violations of that tonight, and I've been a little bit lenient on that given the circumstances, but that is something that will be enforced now. So consider this a warning. If that continues, people will not be recognized to continue speaking. Go ahead.
I'll try my best to keep my speaking rights in my following statement. Okay. So, click on the things that are blocking what I'm about to read. The reason that this is a part of my officer report is because I believe that it's not something of opinion, but something that in its delivery is rudimentary to my role here. I ran for my position under the promise and dedication to uplifting the autonomy of senators and my fellow magistrates by utilizing the full needs of the power of their positions. If you have any questions or thoughts regarding the plans, discussions being held about the future of our space regarding Trump's administration, know that your voice is fully at the table. Please do not hesitate to contact any of us, any of your representatives within Legislative Cabinet. The office is always open to you. That's its purpose. Your voice matters and shapes anything and everything we do. We are a brand for the privilege of the ability to work bottom up in terms of the solutions. In terms of solution, and we as legislative magistrates from my purview are dedicated to that. Hayden, can you pass me my water bottle? You're amazing. Accessibility. Okay. The gathering of knowledge and outreach are necessary in incorporating the perspectives and subsequent rationale that the Senate and furthermore the student body calls from its leadership to move forward in its ability to best protect its purpose in serving the greater CSU body. The best assurance we can provide our constituents stems from those we put in charge now at the precipice. And the best means we can serve our constituencies to best serve our communities is to put forth the knowledge we have and aim to gather and to put more out. The student body deserves and furthermore necessitates the best leadership possible at its forefront in times such as these. There is no level head to be had without protections in place for varied perspectives. That's why I would like to implore each and every one of us as representatives to utilize our resources to gain more knowledge, to utilize things such as the Social Justice Library, to utilize things as communicating more with one another about things outside of this room, to engage more with our constituencies to understand the impact and subsequent action we can take as student representatives. Freedom is a choice is autonomy, and autonomy is only subsequent knowledge. We can't risk having that autonomy taken away. We have to protect the autonomy of all student voices. On another note, office hours. Office hours, the form is going to be sent out in this week's newsletter. Make sure to fill it out. It's gonna be very lenient the first, probably, let's be honest, this semester. It's brand new. If you have any problems with it, there will be a section on the form where you can yell at me. Feel free to yell at me or be really nice about it. I love that. Additionally, if you're new, please come to the front. You can have my phone number, as in I'm gonna give you my phone number. And we'll make sure that you're set up for onboarding and all that fun stuff. Additionally, committee hours are going to count starting this week. Don't get strikes. I hate sending strike emails. Please don't make me send strike emails. Thank you.
Did you have a motion on that?
Oh, I just wanted to suspend, let's see, section 3, subsection B, subsection C from the bylaws from the night.
Wait, I have information. Can you say that again? Read that section.
Obscene profanity, swears, disrespectful body language or gestures or direct personal insult shall not be used instead of chambers.
I'd like to second that. That motion will not be entertained. We have decorum outlined in the bylaws for a specific reason that's to uphold the professionalism of this space. So that will be okay.
You could amend your motion to not cover the entirety and leave out things like allow. Amend your motion.
Can I amend my motion just for obscenities on a normal level, not just going into a range?
I would like to make the suggestion that we don't set the precedent of being able to remove decorum for the safety of future senates.
I agree with that. So for the same reason that will not be entertained. Moving on now, Officer Kelly, you want to say? Okay. Then we can move into the committee and caucus reports, beginning with Chair Snyder.
Hello, everyone. So, first things first. First, we will be having accessibility caucus this week, Friday at 3 p.m. At 3 p.m. Please go. We have much to talk about and not a lot, and only an hour to talk about it. Second, when I ran for accessibility caucus leader on the foundation of accessibility for all. And that is precisely what we will do. Regardless of what will happen from any level of any government, we will sorry. We will fight to make sure that that accessibility will, that all will have access to the resources they need. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Watts.
Hi everyone. I'm Ellie. I'm the chair of the Internal Affairs Committee, the coolest committee. We meet we meet Fridays 11 to 12 in that conference room right there. Last week I fulfilled on my promise of bringing candy and Capri Suns. Only 2 people showed up, so that is not my fault. We also had a very democratic election of our new secretary. So Warner now controls all of the Internal Affairs Committee. I would, per my email I sent to Senate leadership, I will not continue. You can get where this is going. Just, Warner's growing, we're going places. We're going places. What? We already have a forest.
Accessibility, can you say that into a
Yeah. Warner personal privilege.
Where is Warner going? A forest?
I went to mountain campus for a month. I know how to do the EVH of trees. I know how to calculate the basal diameter. I know how to determine how many trees are in a forest if I look at my notes. I don't remember. But yes, internal affairs. Fridays, I was thinking last semester. Fridays, 11 to 12, that conference room. I come from work, so don't be mad if I'm late. But I would like to leave early, so I will. If enough people go this week, I will bring snacks again next week. So please come. Make me spend my money. I think that's a pretty good incentive. Yeah, and if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, please reach out to me. My email is le.lots@colorado.edu. My chair email also works, but that's really long. So yeah, please come to committee. Reach out if you need anything. Reach out if I can give any support. Or if you want to switch your major to Warner, that's also entirely happy to do that. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Chair Miller.
Hi all. Committee is going to be on Thursdays from 2 to 3 p.m. this semester. There will be committee tomorrow, and I will be officially putting this down in the Teams right after I'm done talking. I also want to highlight that the purpose of the University Affairs Committee per the bylaws is to deal with affairs pertaining to the university-wide student needs and concerns, as well as any matters relating to building external partnerships with local and state government in order to respond to CSU student needs or concerns. This past semester, we spent a lot of time in committee talking about student concerns, and I fully intend to continue facilitating these conversations this coming semester. My door is always open, both personally and within committee. Thank you all so much for the work you all do, and I really hope to see you in committee tomorrow. There will be Capri Suns. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Foskey.
Okay, hi y'all. I want to start out with first, I will be holding, so the time for Women's Social Justice Caucus is 5 on Mondays. And that will be just in the ASCSU, the chairs and stuff. It's not formal. Next week, I unfortunately have to get allergy tested, so we're gonna do it on a Tuesday at 5, which is super lame, but it will be again in the ASCSU office. It's gonna be mostly just some work stuff, trying to plan and scheme. But then, so I have a plan for the next 2 caucuses after that. So on top of what I'll say in a minute here, on the week of Valentine's Day, we're going to do a little project to kind of spread some joy around campus. And hint, hint, you can put things on there that are social justice related, such as trans people exist and are loved, stuff like that. So if you want to do some advocacy there, that'd be cool. And the week after that, I'm going to do our own version of a rage room because anger. I'm going to be getting boxes and plates and stuff. So please show up to those. Okay. Also, I want to see every single one of you look at the social justice library and take a book and, well, sign out. But look at a book, read a book, please. This semester, I will give you candy if you tell me that you read a book in our library. That would mean so much to me. Okay, next is echoing some of the stuff that already has been said. What I'm saying next is as a chair, in my position, I will echo that it's my duty to protect and represent the students on this campus. I will say right now that my caucus is a safe place for those who are under attack. Please utilize my caucus as a resource that will fight for you. As a person, I'm not someone who can not speak up. I'm very outspoken about what I believe in, especially when that is in direct violation of our values as a university and as a caucus. Also, when we have these conversations around the plans ahead, it is imperative for all parties to be invited to the table. That is essential in how we move forward. There's already work being started, and I want all CSU students to know right now that we are already moving, we're already planning, and we're already trying to protect you. As Women in Social Justice Caucus, I want the space to cultivate it's not great writing. I want the space to be a megaphone for anyone to come to scream into, and we will amplify your voice. Anger, fear, grief, and despair are all important emotions that are not going to fade soon. But within that, there's power. Love one another, hold one another, and protect one another. I yield my time. I yield to Chair Lutz.
Where is the social justice library?
Fantastic question. So, we did get a new bookcase. I don't think we've put all the books in it yet, which is that's on me. Oh, we have maybe. Oh, look, don't worry. But it is right over when you walk into ASCSU. If you know where the lovely Speaker of the Senate's office is, it's like right across from it. If you want to go to the kitchen, it's right on the way. So, everyone, please, 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 stop by that. I yield to parliamentarian Camp.
Is the social justice library accepting donations?
We are always accepting donations, and hey, spoiler alert, March, we're gonna do a book drive again, so please, 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 especially in a time when there's censorship and all that junk, I need to protect freedom of speech, so I yield my time for, okay, cool.
Thank you. Chairman Ryder.
DEI committee will be meeting 2 to 3 on Fridays in a conference room. So if you're interested in coming to the BEST committee, you really should come 2 to 3 on Fridays in the conference room. I will come up with an incentive that's not candy or free subs, something different and totally new. I yield.
Thank you. Moving now to Senator and Associate Senator reports with Chair Vaughn.
Finally recognized first. As an associate senator for the Warner College of Natural Resources, I am looking at some legislation, I'm reading some stuff about caucuses. So if you're interested in caucuses, let me know because I'm writing some stuff. And I would like to apologize to all of you if you saw me frantically running around the office today or right before Senate. I was trying to get stuff in legislation in before the deadline, which I did. Go me. So I'll be out there hopefully 2 times next week, presenting some really cool legislation I'm really excited about. When the weekly email comes out, or if you want to have it beforehand and you have any questions, concerns, anything, please reach out to me. I will actively try to make that legislation as agreeable to everyone. And a little plug for Warner College Council. We want to partner for events. We want to do stuff. Warner College Council loves everyone. We want everyone to be there. Even if you're not a Warner major, I discovered you don't have to be a Warner in Warner College to be a Warner senator, which is probably a problem. We'll figure that out later. So that's fun. But yeah, I'll stop talking. But if I can be of support in any way, or you want to see any of the legislation I bring, please reach out. And yeah, I'm here for all of you. I yield.
Thank you. Senator LaFairmore.
Hello. I hope everyone's having a good evening. I just wanted to make some announcements for the events that ASCSU is hosting. We have the South Central American Caribbean meetup Mondays at 11:30 to 1 p.m. at Central. And then we also have a 2-day event going on. It's the series of immigration. It's going to be online, open to all. It will be in Spanish. There will be interpretation in English. And yeah, please spread the word. Even if it's just for you to stay informed, please attend it. It's super important. I believe that knowledge is power. And they can take away our rights, but they can't take away our education and knowledge. And I think we can educate a lot more people just by attending, just by knowing. I come from immigrant parents. And for sure you'll be spreading the word. Like I said, it's open to all. So even if your parents aren't here, your friends aren't in Fort Collins, just share the word. If I know they're gonna know someone, that person's gonna know someone, and yeah, it's just really important. So thank you. I give it time.
What a personal privilege, I guess. Can you send? Is there marketing for that event? Can you send that in the team channel? If there is.
Sorry. Yes, there is. I'll send that right over.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Davis.
I was trying to decide what order to go in. I'll start with mine as senator. This is all just like update stuff. I'm working on a bill regarding the social justice library. If you have any interest, reach out to me. Let me know. For the actual Safe Center, February is coming up, and we have quite a few events going on. There's an ecofeminism book club that is starting. I did send that one in the team, so it should be there. But if you have any interest or know anybody who's interested, please sign that form as soon as possible. Another event that is being put on by one of our student staff is in partnership with the Student Rec Center. I can't tell if that's a number. It's an echo. And I will send the link to that in the team's chat as well. But if you are interested in, it's called The Body's Not an Apology, and it's an art exhibit in partnership with the Student Rec Center and SAFE. If you have any art that you want to submit, sign the form. Physical art, you should submit to our office in the LSC, which is 234. Digital art, you will send to our Safe Center email, which is on our website, safecenter.colosstate.edu. Our annual Feminist Queer Empowerment Conference has been canceled this year, unfortunately, just due to lack of interest in submissions. They are working on an alternative to that, so I will provide updates when I have them, but I'm sorry. And then I just want to reiterate one more time that our victim assistance team hotline is open 24/7. I'll post it again in the team. I put it in there a lot because I know it's an important resource. We have confidential advocates that are available 24/7. That is a resource for you to utilize. Do so if you need to. And then I'm going to yield to Olivia on Sweet Shop.
Okay, so it's my favorite time of year. It's Sweet Shop. How many of you have been to Sweet Shop before? Okay, that's not bad. I hope to see each and every one of you there. It is a super fun time. So I'm trying to find the exact date and time. We believe it's the 11th from, where did you find that? Okay. The office is struggling. Okay, so we'll put it in the teams, don't worry. But basically, we will be giving out Plan B, pregnancy tests, all that kind of stuff as we did last year. Last year, ASCSU gave away, I believe it was 300, 200, something around there, Plan Bs, which is super amazing. Things have restructured a little bit this year, so it won't be ASCSU necessarily buying those, but it'll be just as we will have a bunch of Plan B there. And we have all sorts of stuff about sex positivity and sexual health. So if you want to learn about sex toys, if you want to learn about smut, if you want to get condoms and all that fun stuff, it's a great time. It's at Braden Hall, just on like the entrance there. We'll put more information in the Teams chat. Do you want me to yield back to you? I yield back to Senator Davis.
Here, David. Just as a final thing, my email is always open for anything and everything.
Thank you. Senator Linda.
I just want to make a couple announcements as well. First of all, starting with Accessibility Caucus, we have a really, really hard-working team that I feel like we need to pay more attention to. In Accessibility Caucus, there are many things that we're working hard on, and I feel like sometimes we feel like we're sprinted, or maybe people are unaware of the work that we're doing, but we put it out there. We have our meetings from 4 to 5 on Friday, and we're working really hard to make Canvas accessible, and it's a continuous fight. And I just wanted to reiterate what Morgan has said, and also just remember that it's an open door. If you're facing accessibility issues and you need an advocate, we are there for you. I just wanted to also note that when you are being an advocate, think of ways in which you can be accessible. Think of ways in which you didn't realize you had a privilege in your advocacy, which is such a crazy thing to say, because advocacy is advocating for the people who are actively being stripped of their power, who are actively being attacked by policies and things of the sort. It's easy to forget that people have vulnerabilities, that it's just easy to forget, and I feel like as a representative of the SDC, I have seen people forget, and it's even harder when you have those intersectional identities because you're ultimately forgotten. And my heart goes out to the people with those intersectional identities because it's rough out here, and yet we continue to fight. I also want to say I want to be careful with the idea of an echo chamber. In my time at Senate, I feel like we're an echo chamber oftentimes, and I'm always glad for everyone who comes to gallery input, and I implore you to do as one of my fellow senators said earlier, but use the space as a megaphone rather than an echo chamber, empowering your constituents to come to this space. And I know that sounds a bit hypocritical coming from me because I have yet to have one of my constituents come to this space, but I really empower that because we can yap all towards each other, but how many of us has actually talked to someone who doesn't know what ASCSU was and brought their opinion to this space? I bet it's pretty low. And with that, I also want everyone in this space to know, anyone who's on ASCSU, anyone who's watching the live stream to know that myself and my co-senator Jessica Gray are always here for you. You can reach me. My email is quite literally just my first name because I'm just so cool and unique that I got that. Felicity, JELICITY at collegestate.edu. If you ever want to talk about anything related to accessibility and how we can advocate that in the student government space, we're always open. Just want to end on a really cool note. We had, if anyone, okay, my thoughts are back on track. Okay, how many of you pick up the print edition of the Collegian? How many of you picked up last week's? How many of you saw the first article who was featured? Yeah, Morgan and Jess were both in that article. Sorry, Senator Snyder and Senator Gray. We're both in that article talking about accessibility issues on campus and how we're effectively using our voices, spaces, such as Senate, such as Accessibility Caucus, Disability Club, and even in between, there are people who don't even belong to those spaces or rarely go to those spaces and are still advocating in their daily life. We have accessibility advocates everywhere, whether they're loud or whether they're quiet. They're amongst us, and we're here for you. So I just want to give kudos to my fellow advocates in this space, and also yield to Senator Gray.
Hello, friends. I hope you can tell that I'm not just absolutely snorting over here. It's so fun. I think that these are rough times and that we're stronger together than we are apart. Please consider accessibility in social justice environments. Different aspects that may not be considered to the average individual may not be accessible to another person. Yeah, my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Gordon.
Guys, I've been trying to get out of here for the past 15 minutes. Anyway, so if you don't know me, my name is Nevaeh. I am the senator for the Pride Resource Center. So go gays. Let's see. Oh, our Brandon community is still open, which basically means a mentoring program for the gays. And if you want gay friends, then they got you. I personally have 3 gay friends. But yeah, so that's going on. And also, arms, ears, email, always open. I like cats, so if you would like to show me pictures of cats, I would love that. I will show you pictures of cats in return, one with a plate on its head, if you want to see that. Yeah, I yield my time.
Thank you. Senator Monty.
Y'all been waiting for this one. First off, just gonna keep this quick, short, sweet. Always open arms, open ears. I see y'all more than willing to yell at a person for you, and I am here as a tool for my constituents and those I represent. And we might not think it, we represent each other's constituents as well, even when we're not thinking that we do, we do. So always keep that in mind. All right, but now next week is my favorite one, Black History Month. Can I get a woo? Woo! Thank you. All right, so I'm just gonna give you a quick hit of some events happening. First off is Engineers a World of Difference from the National Society of Black Engineers. It will be, and all of these events will be at the Foothill Mall. This event specifically is going to be happening Saturday, February 1st from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So first day of Black History Month. Get there. Next up is Freedom of Expression Workshop with Chavez of, I can try to pronounce that, but I'm not going to butcher that, art department. That will be also on Saturday, February 8th from 11 to 2:30 p.m. at Foothills Mall. Finally, Proud to Be Me painting workshop with Jasmine Helene at the Foothills Mall, February 15th from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Another one is a table reading of A Raisin in the Sun at the Museum of Art at Fort Collins from the first Friday, February 7th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And yeah, that is the events that I have currently got labeled down. Besides all that, we also now have a lovely back senator team. Be kind to them and show them love. All right, I give my time.
Thank you. With that, the Senate will move into conference business with
I'd
2
like
hours.
to make a motion to adjust the agenda. I'm so sorry. It's coming from over here.
Thank you.
I'd like to motion to move election of Park Senate Public Relations Officer below new business. New business.
Okay, does that motion have a second?
Second.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Seeing none, that change will be shown on the agenda. Then we will begin conference business with new business with Bill 5408.
Whoa.
Okay, we have Bill 5408, increased funding to the Rams Against Hunger pocket pantries. This bill seeks to continue ASCSU's legacy of supporting Rams Against Hunger pocket pantry program, allocating $54,000 from the ASCSU General Discretionary Fund to the Rams Against Hunger Pocket Pantry Fund, bringing the total budget from the previous $12,000 to now $18,000 for each academic year during the next 3-year cycle. $9,000 per semester, $18,000 per year, $54,000 per 3-year cycle beginning June 2025.
Hi, Senate. I'm Diana. I'm one of your fellow senators. And please excuse the unprofessionalism with my phone and my sticky note. I'll just. Do you want to introduce yourself for now? Sure. Okay. Hello. I gave an executive report earlier, but my name is Georgia. I use she, they pronouns. I'm the director of basic needs for ASCSU, and I've served in that position for about a year and a half. So I do not want to take up too much of your evening. And I know that we've already discussed some pretty heavy, potentially distressing things tonight. But since that's our job, we also need to talk about food insecurity. So this issue involves all of our constituencies. It is definitely of your concern. Student food insecurity is an issue that is being addressed on our campus by Rams Against Hunger. So before I read anything from the bill itself, I want to give you some context that will help you understand the bill. So funding from ASCSU for the Rams Against Hunger pocket pantries is maintained through these quote-unquote contracts that is written through the form of bills. And they're written and renewed every 3 years. And we're coming up on the time when the current one is about to expire, basically. What's this right here? So what we found is that the funding that is being given currently, it's not enough to sustain the program. It's not enough to feed our students. And I just want to reiterate that, you know, what is Rams Against Hunger? Rams Against Hunger is sort of like this umbrella term. It's made up of these 4 smaller programs. And what this bill is addressing is just one facet of that program, which is the pocket pantries. So Rams Against Hunger, who does it help? It helps every one of you as students. It also helps staff, and it helps also community members. It goes without saying that Rams Against Hunger is a vital part of our ecosystem at CSU. So the issue is that budget. It's old per se. It's outdated. It doesn't fit with the current state of tuition prices, food prices, housing prices, the impacts of inflation, etc. And so that's why we're asking for an increase. This increase, as noted in the abstract, is going from $12,000 a year to $18,000 a year. Broken down, that's $9,000 per semester. 9 times 3, no. 18 times 3, 54. $54,000 in total for this upcoming contract. So touching on the housing and food needs of students, the way that it was laid out to me by the director of Rams Against Hunger is kind of distressing. he talked about how students basically will sacrifice their food needs. They'll go hungry in order to pay their rent, in order to be able to pay for their tuition. That's what Rams Against Hunger is tackling, so that students don't need to make that choice. That's why I implore you when you vote, consider that choice that students are making. And again, this program alleviates those issues for students, staff, and community members. Can you scroll a little bit? So I want to touch on this point. When I was writing the bill, I wanted to drive home that it's in CSU's nature and it's CSU's responsibility to alleviate some of the financial issues that come from being a student here. I know we can all relate to how expensive it is. And Rams Against Hunger really alleviates some of that. All right, hello again, beautiful people. Just coming up here for a few minutes to echo some of the things that Brianna has shared with you, and to share a little bit about my perspective on this bill as the Director of Basic Needs. So tonight, I'm so excited to be up here in collaboration with Brianna, presenting a bill that will increase the funding for the pocket pantries across the campus, across CSU's campus, from $12,000 to $18,000 per year for the next 3 years. This is a crucial investment in ensuring that no one in our CSU community goes hungry. We currently have 8 pocket pantries at CSU, which provide free, accessible, and stigma-free food resources to not just students, but also faculty, staff, and members of the larger Fort Collins community. It's also worth noting that 4 of those pocket pantries are in the Lori Student Center. So we have 2 in between our cultural resource centers on the 2nd and 3rd floor, and then 1 in the Adult Learner and Veteran Services Center, and then 1 right back there that we help manage. Okay, sorry, I lost my clip. Here we go. These pantries are open to everyone because food insecurity doesn't just affect students. It's an issue that touches people across our entire campus ecosystem and community. I want to just touch base on something. One of the most important aspects of the pocket pantry is that we do not track or record data on who is using them. This is intentional. We want to ensure that individuals from vulnerable or marginalized identities feel completely safe accessing these resources without fear of judgment or documentation. Right now, we're coming to you all because we're struggling to keep up with that demand. Over the past 3 years with our current funding, which sits at $12,000 per year, we are seeing increased usage of the pantry, showing a clear and growing need from students, so much so that we have had to actually supplement our own ASCSU pantry with culturally competent and hygiene, or culturally competent food selection and hygiene items. We're also seeing shortages of essential food items in our pocket pantries, including fresh and nutritious options. And then lastly, Deanna touched on this a little bit, but we're seeing rising costs that makes it harder to keep the shelves in every single pantry location across CSU fully stocked. And then to break this funding increase down a little bit, so that you know it's not just like an arbitrary number that we came up with, spread across 8 pocket pantries, this increase would provide about $1,125 per location per semester. For reference, that's roughly the cost of fully stocking the ASCSU pantry for just a 2-week period one time. So even with this increase, we're still operating on a modest but very impactful budget that will help ensure these resources remain fully stocked and available to every single person who needs them. This funding is not just about food, it's about ensuring that every single person in our CSU community has the support that they need to thrive.
So I urge you to support this bill and stand with students, faculty, staff, and community members who rely on these resources. And also, if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. So thank you all.
Then with that, we can begin Q&A with Chair for part of that.
Is there any language at all? Because I know you mentioned undocumented students, but out of safety reasons, is there any language involved that includes undocumented students in this bill?
There's not explicit language, but I'd love to work with you, like, if you feel that that's necessary in the bill.
No. It's because, so recently I had a conversation and basically we need to like scrub everything with the word undocumented in it. So I just wanted to double check that.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, no, we're not using undocumented, or even vulnerable or marginalized identities in this bill language. However, Rails Against Hunger has done a really good job of setting up like a cultural shift, I guess, in making sure that all students know that they are protected when they use their services. So Rams Against Hunger, I'm really proud to say the director has made efforts to basically sort of like privately and directly reach students that are in like food insecure positions. He's actually worked with like the program that we represent, AAC. So I'm really proud of that. In one of our meetings, he said that he was working toward, so basically another facet of Rams Against Hunger, not specifically the pocket pantries, but there's also a facet that works on like basically getting like food that is left over from like catering events, getting some of that food towards like text messages to specific groups, communities that have like signed up for those messages and like qualify for it. And I'm really proud to say that there are undocumented students like on that list, on that mailing list. But I absolutely think that we can do more and should do more. And if nothing else, like Rams Against Hunger wants to serve those communities.
No, yeah, I think that through personal experience, I know that Rams Against Hunger has actually helped the undocumented community a lot significantly, and a lot of our students use those resources in order to not go hungry because it is very expensive to live as an undocumented individual, especially during times where individuals are seeking lawyers, individuals are seeking things like that. So I fully support this bill. I yield my time.
Thank you. Senator Rivera, did you want to say something? And if we can keep, when you guys raise name placards, keep those up until I acknowledge you, because I miss people often when you put them down.
I just wanted to say I personally use the food pantry and the pocket pantries, and I think this is an awesome bill. Y'all have my full support. You have Edge's full support. And if there's any other way, anything else that we could do to help, please feel more than welcome to reach out. But this is awesome, and I can't wait to see the great thing I do.
Thank you. Do we have any additional Q&A? Chair Davis?
I just have two housekeeping questions. Can you scroll down to the last RAS clause? You might have to go. There's one about general discretionary funds. It's probably higher. Or is it one? It's a clause in there. What is the difference between the general discretionary fund and the Senate, and like where is that money coming from?
So I can elaborate on that a little bit, and then also just want to reiterate that we did send this bill to our accountants for ASCSU, so they have viewed it and given us the sign off on like in terms of financial operations. So the way that Senate funding works when you guys write bills that fund like separate offices or entities or programs on campus is that the funding is like sits in a general discretionary fund. And so that's where the funding is coming out of. The Senate fund is like for operations of Senate during the year. So it's not like the actual bill that you guys all have
or the actual amount of money that you ought to spend through bills, if that makes sense. That makes sense. That helps. Thank you. And then I have another question. I think I already know the answer, but after 3 years, what's the plan?
So we've done this process now 3 different times, and so it is written into the transition reports for the Director of Basic Needs, or Health and Wellness, whatever that department transitions into, as like part of their responsibilities. And then Mike and Catherine at the pantry are up to date on like this information, and so they tend to reach out to whoever is coordinating in executive and senate around basic needs work to pass this once that 3 years like is hitting that expiration mark. If that makes sense.
Lovely.
I wanted to touch on that point a little bit more. I think this is the first bill that will work on like creating a new position. Correct me if I'm wrong. This position being somebody from Senate is gonna basically like do like the evaluation work that goes into, it's supposed to be sort of like unbiased, like third party, to figure out like, is this funding like doing what it's supposed to. I think that's in the last therefore clause.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. That
No, you're
does
fine.
bring me to another question. Is that like a specific person or the entirety of the 50 bits?
It's just a specific person, and we'll like get into like the details of that, and like once this bill if it passes, like work on creating that process a little bit more clear.
And you yield. Thank you.
Point of information. This is a monetary bill. We do not have a budgetary affairs chair. Yes.
I can speak to that a little bit. I was going to mention once we kind of got to assigning this to committees, especially because this is such a large amount of money coming out of the Senate's fund. I would like this to be seen by the Budgetary Affairs Committee. We don't have a chair yet for that committee, but we'll be holding that election next week, and so this might just take a little bit longer to get out of committees. So just as long as you two know that. And that's okay. Next up, we have, how do you pronounce your last name? Grenier, thank you. Senator Grenier.
I'm just wondering how you came to the $18,000
So we calculated that in conjunction with Grants Against Hunger, Mike and Catherine, who are the directors of Grants Against Hunger. So before this 3-year bill that's in effect right now, that's coming to expire, the previous 3-year bill allocated $15,000 per year. So there was the original one that allocated $15,000 per year for 3 years. That expired, and then this one that we're currently in came with a decrease, so now $12,000 annually. So we cut that from $15,000 to $12,000. $15,000 was about the right amount for those 3 years that it was in effect, and they had success with maintaining stock and supply of the pantry. And with this budget cut, they have not seen that, and then the extra $3,000 is accounting for inflation and rising costs of groceries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Wells.
Hi again. Maybe this is point of information, but for general clarity, since this is a monetary bill and has money being allocated, this is a question to your parliamentarian, Denver. Sorry to put you on the spot, but what is to understand options, what is the process of expediting? In this case. Yes.
Our documents say that if it concerns money, it has to go through budgetary. So basically, it's going to be held in committee until there's a committee, as far as I'm understanding. But I didn't look into this specifically before this meeting.
No, I don't think that would be the case.
I'd also like to offer up the information we are going to be starting essentially what would be a functioning new budgetary committee. We don't want to have this thrown in beforehand without that being able to work with it tangibly.
I agree. I'm just
So speaking to the question of expediting this would be Article 6 of the Senate bylaws, which is legislation, Section 6, expedition. Because this does deal with funding and this does not originate from VSOF, that can only be granted an expedited status with written documentation of feasibility from the ASCSU advisor and the ASCSU director of finance by the same criteria as a bill sent to the Budgetary Affairs Committee. So seeing as that does not have this in advance, we cannot expedite this.
just curious. Thank you.
We are out of time for.
Senator Lamont?
This is like a conference call, right?
No, that was
Not a
Q&A.
con-
Q&A time?
Yes. And Chair Lutz was last on the list.
Then I yield to the
Okay, thank you. Then, let's see, this bill will be sent to the Budgetary Affairs Committee, the University Affairs Committee, and the Engineering Affairs Committee. And let's send that to DEI Committee as well. All of the committees.
Okay, we have resolution 5407, asking Colorado State University's administrators for more accountability and transparency. We ask Colorado State University administration and leadership to provide more transparency on their decision-making and the processes that happen on campus, as well as take more accountability by providing more tangible and actionable means of improving support on campus and addressing the student body during times of distress.
Hi, y'all. For some of you who've been here for a while, so everyone up front, and also over here, which mostly chairs, this is the first bill I've ever written. Woo, go nice and easy. With that being said, right now, with author's rights, I give full permission for parliamentarian and or anyone else, any of the committee chairs to correct my spelling and grammar if so happens to come up. So if you want to correct it, you have my oath, go ahead. All right, pretty much the idea of this bill is as the abstract says. Like, I feel I wrote this bill during last semester, pretty much during, I believe, Thanksgiving break, and then a lot of y'all got it. And it was in response to like the fact that I had noticed a lot of students had felt like CSU hadn't been very open and honest about some of how I was doing things, as well as the fact that when things were done and we asked for some clarification of hey, be better next time, they weren't really better next time. A lot of stuff happened last semester that made it clear that about that. And also with the knowledge of to any additional therefore clauses or whereas clauses to this resolution, because I understand that what this resolution is basically asking is CSU to do better. And I think that's something we want for all of our constituency. So yeah.
With that, we move into 10 minutes of Q&A. Chairperson.
This may not be the greatest. I don't know. I've been up since 5 a.m. My brain's a little fried. I'm on my second monster of the day. So, the grammar and stuff right now. I'm chill with that because it's going to send to committees and stuff. But I would like to please request to be sent to my caucus because I think this is a great bill.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you can see it. Also, I have plans for after Q&A.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Seeing none.
I'd like to make a motion, Speaker.
Okay.
I'd like to motion that this bill be sent to all the committees and also at make a nice little ask of all the caucuses that they have their edits, not their edits, that they get that they receive this legislation, and if they do make any edits, that they can be sent in a weekly email ahead of time, and that I can add them as speaker. As not speaker, author. Bessie, I have 5 hours sleep as well.
Yeah, so that doesn't have to be a motion. I can just send those to all the committees. So I will do that. This will go to all the committees. So legislation doesn't get sent to caucuses. The purpose of a caucus and a committee is not the same thing. So committees take legislation, they view them, make edits to them. Caucuses have kind of a specific focus on issues, but they're totally welcome to view legislation. I'll get to that in just a second. Totally welcome to view legislation and suggest edits, but they don't have the same edit making capabilities as like a committee does. But the author of the legislation can discuss those in caucuses and can accept the edits that they want to make as well. Yes.
Point of clarification, you could send it to me as caucus chairs.
Will do. I believe you do have a copy of it right
Okay. Thank you. We'll now move into the election of the Senate Public Relations Officer. Do you have any nominations, self-nominations to this position? Seeing none, we will hold off on that until next week, and we'll move into ending roll call. Senator Luna.
Motion to use beginning roll call as any roll call with the, but as everyone's accumulating.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Then we will do that, and this meeting is adjourned.
New people, please come to the front, please, pretty.